myself a little volume without messing with you guys too much. Let's just fly around a little bit while we're getting warmed up. I'm kind of really interested just to see how this looks for y'all since I'm trying a new capture version. Okay, it looks like I could bring the screen thing there a little bit to the right. It looks like y'all are getting a slight corner. Okay, cool. Let me fix that. Go here. Do that. Come back here. Am I still on the air? Bring that down. Mic audio, the cool helicopter shed. Drop that. A little bit more. Okay. Let's do this a little bit again. Here we are flying. Yap. Wonder what I sound like. Okay, wait for my stream to catch up to 10 seconds or whatever it is. Okay, we're going to bring that down a little bit. That's why I put the test stream thing up. Because I didn't know what this would be like. land. Hello, this is Matt. Yep. Sorry, I didn't talk quickly after I got going again. I get distracted flying because I enjoy it. But yeah, I think this might be the solution. Got negative 11 gang volume for me. Just a little bit more and we'll call that good. I won't do a recheck. So you go to my OBS real quick. We're to bring negative 12, negative 12. Cool, I like that. Let's do some real flying now. Why is my helicopter purple? Let's go over here. Let's do a slam and go over here. And the slam is, and I'm going to slam it down on this dirt runway, then go somewhere else. As in, not this location. Good, sorry, Fay Ranch in Texas, but slightly not exciting here. There we go. Slammed. Sick. In flight. Sip some not energy drink. Call it good. Let's move. Okay, let's see. Let's do a check it on the career mode real quick. Just spent $1.5 million getting the 125 helicopter the other day. There we go. Looks like nothing's worked since then, since I was in it. Here's saying it's broken, so it gave me the little yellow thing on the bottom of the missions. So it should be showing me I have aerial construction available to start learning here while in the employee mode. But yeah, it's not showing, so that's one of the new glitches with one of the new software things that came out. We're gonna hop back into Freelancer real quick, and we're just going to see if we can find like a cool flight to generate somebody. Ooh. That looks like a longer flight. Should be good for a stream. We're going to be over some mountains. I like it. Let's transfer this bad boy in there. Let's see how glitchy this is going to be for us. Oh. Last minutes ago. Fuel payload. I'm going to put more fuel in there. I have plenty of weight, and I know I am not the most fuel efficient pilot at the moment. Okay, let's take this sweatshirt off. Ooh. Okay, cool. I'm actually glad that we did this here. Weather looks good. And when I say weather looks good, I mean weather looks horrible, which means it'll actually give me something to do. Get that checked. Get that off. Move the static port. pitot. Let's get the other landing gear checked. That looks good. Take off the engine cover. Pop open the trans cover here. Check our oil. That looks good. And in. Let's go. Let's get my seating position fixed. Get myself a little alt forward. How does that feel? Close enough. Let's go and get boarding going. I've got my boarding button or the enter button.
4611 parking 13. Clear to start passenger
Sorry,
boarding.
adjusting my headset. I've got it mapped to my
Captain. We're proceeding. Fly safe.
comms trigger button on the front of my cyclic here. Hello, friend. Let's move you over here. Okay, startup. Battery going. Anti-collisions. That way people can see us. Fuel is on. Let's turn this to where I can see it. You're a bit in the way right there. Get that turned up. Fuel pump on. Not that it matters for us here. But we'll go ahead and click the buttons and stuff. Don't have to do the accumulator test till we're actually running, because that's for the hydraulics of this, but I don't have any sort of force feedback thing on here, so that's really not a thing for me. Let's close that going. That'll get our starter turned on. We'll start seeing our needles moving around
Captain.
here. Hey, Captain.
You're leaving
going
to Toledo? Just wanted
Shut
to drop by and say hello before you take off. Remember, today's guest Mr. Baker is on the go for a business meeting and needs a short and quick transfer to Toledo State. With the chopper, it should be a piece of cake, and the client will just have to enjoy the
That is a
view.
bad typo there, and it's so annoying that they do the AI crap with all this. Like, it wouldn't have been much for voice actors to put in money here and spend a little bit to get voice actors going, you know. Avionics on. Turn the fuel pump off since we're running now. I've got landing lights on my cyclic in my cyclic controls for my setup here. With the taxi lights on. We already have anti-collision lights on. Now the only thing left is twist grips on. Now it's my taxi now. And that's really just throttle,
Delta
which
November
is
traffic
a
November
high
tree
flight.
90017 is taxiing to runway tree
So
4.
we'll pop that bad boy over to flight right there. Let's see. FedEx getting us warmed up. Getting us in position. Right now what I'm looking at is our rotor speed here. Making sure we're getting up to the green mark. Everything else is good. Let's welcome the passengers.
Sir, our helicopter is currently
too
taxiing to
hard
position
right.
for the upcoming takeoff. Please fasten your
Slowly
seatbelt.
pull on the
And remember, this is a
selective
non-smoking
here.
flight.
Right
Thank you.
pedal. Now, usually for a helicopter, we would not be taxiing to a hold short and using the runway. But this game is pretty much built around fixed-wing operations. So, it's something that... Listen here, bud. Fucking ghost car. Yeah, this thing here is pretty much built around, whatever, fixed-wing operations. Let me see if I can turn off the sky thing. Let's see. Escape. Grab my controller. Settings, assistances. I gotta grab that. Display active waypoint, yeah. Flight path, I have this turned off. VR, let me see if it's in VR. Maybe it's a VR thing. I don't know, but I have it turned off and it shouldn't show me that. So I'm hoping it won't show me that when we take off. See, this is annoying right here. I gotta scoot forward. Wish that serial wasn't a thing. Then I said too far forward, and it feels too far forward. We come out of the menus, and it moves this back up here. Puts my controller in my face, which is not there. Cool. Let's do this again. Let's get to shore. Let's get a taxi speeding violation. That's fun. Love being in a superior aircraft and getting dinged for being that way. Let's try to track straight. So if we have an engine issue, we can land and actually skid forward and not give ourselves a rollover. Announce the takeoff.
Kilo Bravo,
Passengers
Delta
are
November,
gonna take
traffic
off.
November, tree 90017, taking off runway tree for west departure.
Something that y'all really can't see here because we're on pavement.
Sir,
And I'm
this is your
creating
captain.
rotor wash here.
Thank you for choosing to
It
travel
really
with
shouldn't
us.
happen
I invite
with
you to
my
sit back, relax,
collective
and
all the
enjoy
way
your
down.
journey to Toledo.
Because I'm not actually creating any downwash. Whenever the collective's down, the blade should be more or less running flat. Which that's annoying because as soon as you turn on in the dirt, you start getting brown out. Especially on grass runways and in soft fields. No traffic to the right, come out to the left. Pretend we're an airplane for a little bit. We made it on runway 34. Let's get our speed up. 50 knots. 60 knots. And let's go. Gear up, or whatever airplane people say. Positive brake, gear up. That looks very deep parking sort of things. Almost military bases, but I don't want to sound ignorant when it's not. 121 miles. If I was not streaming, I would click the skip button immediately.
I have a bunch of calls to make during
Why
the
are
flight,
these brackets
so I
in
might
there?
not be very
I've told you I
talkative.
don't want the
Hope
brackets.
you won't mind, Captain.
It's so annoying. Okay, let's get rid of this damn tablet real quick.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Dogs hear
Everything's
something.
set up there, so it should go pretty quickly. I'll give you a call. Can you text me the driver's number? I don't have
Also,
it.
Pat.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
They don't even want to put in a little bit of lip movement whenever he's talking, which is kind of on the annoying side also. It's like, man, I don't want to be flying in the brackets. It's just so annoying. Like the taxi, it's nice to have the taxi light or the taxi direction things because I don't run full capabilities with my VR. so I don't have the full taxi signage being a thing. So it makes it hard to navigate different airports. And sometimes with the helicopter stuff, they want you going to different pads, or they want you trying different things, because once again, this game is made for fixed wing operations. So I kind of enjoy having the taxi directions on the runway, but
Hey,
it
Mom,
is
I'm in the
pretty
middle of a
annoying
flight.
having the brackets up there when
Mom,
they're not necessary.
I'm 39. Yes, I had my breakfast. You really want to know what I ate? Mom, I gotta go. I'm in a helicopter, not at the
Hey,
hotel.
we're somewhere
Okay, love you
Northern
too, bye.
California, Oregon, Washington, something. Wherever Toledo. Isn't Toledo, Ohio? I think Toledo's in Ohio. But I see I have another viewer in here. Welcome. Glad you're here. Don't know who you are, but I appreciate you dropping in. I'm doing something different with the stream today. What I had been doing, I'd been using the Meta Quest Developers Hub, or whatever you'd like to call it, so that way I can have a way to cast what the VR vision is, and then I was streaming the OBS on the window of what that was. And now what I'm doing, I downloaded the Live Vision Kit 1.2.0 or something like that, which hopefully is smoothing out the VR a good bit more for the stream.
Hi.
Because I know
Sorry for the
previously it was
background noise. I'm in the
very
plane.
shaky,
He
which
will be
I'm
joining the meeting
exaggerating
too.
that now.
I'll share the presentation with them.
But
Just grab those files on my desk and send it to the
the
legal
Live Vision
department.
Kit's hopefully smoothing this out so it's a bit more
Keep
viewable,
me
and I'm just
posted once
casting
they
it right
arrive in
off
Toledo,
of the
okay?
main
Have a great day.
Microsoft Flight Simulator screen. What it is, I'm just zoomed in on my left eye because I am left eye dominant. Actually, what I'm going to do, turn the landing lights off. Also, a really annoying thing, you can't see it on my handheld controller here, but left and right here corresponds to my rudder pedals. Forward and backward does nothing. And I can't figure out a way to turn that off because that's a good way to crash myself. And I want to say one of the other buttons on here, either the A or B button, does something horrific to the helicopter. I was doing it the other day, and I clicked something and I went straight nose down. No power, no nothing. It was almost like the helicopter was instantly turned off and then fully cyclicked forward. So I have no clue what
Hi
that
there.
was.
How are you? Yeah, I'm on my way.
Mike Baker.
Up
Wait,
for
is this
lunch
the
tomorrow.
CIA dude that's on Joe Rogan all the time?
Great.
What are you doing in my helicopter?
Awesome.
Don't you have better
Adding
shit
it
to
to
do?
my calendar too. Can't wait.
So typically, I enjoy a lot of the guests that Joe has on. But Mike Baker's a weird one. He's a very informed person. Obviously, he did work with or for or something with the CIA in the past. And there have been a lot of things where it seems like he's purposefully deflecting information away, or purposefully deflecting the conversation in the podcast away from whatever, or to keep it towards the narrative. Or if you want to say it's super like pro, like currently drones over New Jersey. So previously, 2-3 years ago, he'd be like, man, there's these drones over New Jersey, something, and he would just completely ignore the fact, well, there's no proof there's anything, there's no nothing, there's no videos, which I can go into this later.
Hi,
We have
sir.
an hour worth
Mike
of
on the
flight,
phone.
so I think that we'll,
Yes, I can speak now. It's a bit noisy, but
I
can
think
you
that we'll
hear
probably
me?
touch
Yes.
on this in a bit.
Hello. Yes, can you?
But,
There. I'll call you back, okay?
He is former CIA, and it's known that a lot of former CIA people now work at Facebook. They now work at Twitter or X when it was a thing. They work at Meta, work at YouTube. They work at all these different places. And he's even called out on the podcast that, man, this is just weird that the former legitimately deep state people do any sort of work in the social media thing, which is if you were to be a conspiracy person, you would say, wow, they're leaving the job with the CIA, but still working for the CIA, then going to different places like the social media companies, and then helping control a narrative.
I'll be back next week. Don't have too much fun without me. Anyway, catch you later. Kisses.
Yeah, so, Mr. Mike Baker isn't a CIA guy that went to go work for Meta or YouTube or Twitter back when it was Twitter. He starts his own TV show and then goes on popular podcasts and talks. And it seemed like a lot previously he was deflecting a whole bunch from whatever the alternative narrative that people would bring up is. Whether it be all of the sickness of 2020 to 2023 that people were exposing and different things. He just always seemed to be pro whatever the narrative was. But he's recently changed his tone a bit in the past episode or two that I've heard him on. So I'm not saying that he is
boss,
or
I'm
was
great.
still
I'm
actively
heading to the
CIA
meeting. Thanks for
and
the
going on a
private chauffeur.
popular show and
Okay,
pretending
I'll
to
download
be
this update as soon as I'm at the
trustworthy.
hotel.
But
Yes, I'm 100% ready.
it does
My
sound
assistant
that way
is
to
already
me.
aware.
And now he's in my helicopter.
Sure, keep me posted. Catch you later.
Maybe we can just introduce him to the ground. You know, if this was a freelance mission, maybe. But this is my personal helicopter company. This is Czar Aviation. No, this is Czar Air Shuttle. We are the end-all, be-all of rotorcraft air shuttling in a H-125 that was freshly squirted out with its rubber floors. This is definitely not like a luxury outfitted H-125. Yeah, here we are. Usually, once again, 100 miles left, I would have skipped over this and gone straight to it because the amount of money that you save in the career mode on these things by doing an entire flight, I don't think is significant enough to justify the 1.5 hours worth of helicopter flying that it takes to do something like this. For the airplane stuff, no, yeah, sure, go for it. You know, that's kind of what the people do it for because they enjoy getting up to whatever altitude. They enjoy working the autopilots and working different IFR flight plans, having them programmed into the box and then flying through. And, you know, that's the thing that the fixed wing people enjoy. But I got into the sim because I wanted to learn how to fly helicopters, you know. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with straight and level, but, you know, straight and level is not, I don't think it's where the learning curve is on something like a helicopter. Let's see what my ascent is here. Actually, I'm going to show you guys a cool trick on the Garmin here. I can go back, hit terrain, and around out. It's crazy that's not big. It's picked up the mountain there. I wonder if it's ever going to show me red for what's in front of me. Because usually that will say like, cool, you know, you're at a bad altitude here. Let's see how close I can get. I will say the West Coast is a very good looking place. We're not quite on the coast yet, we're heading that way. No, it should have been giving me yellow for sure, as far as being close here. Oh yeah, good reveal there. We'll break down here, give Mr. Baker a flight to remember. Man, it looks like nasty weather that way. Kinda wish we were flying through that technically this helicopter's not set up for IFR, I don't think. We got a Garmin, we got everything, but I don't know if it's a certified thing. Got a windshield wiper. Why can't I? Like, why give me a windshield wiper if you don't want me to drive through the rain? Come on. Does it work here? Is it modeled? See, where's my control? Where's my wiper? Float arm. Voice. Oh, there we go. Hell yeah. Don't want that. Go away. What we'll do, we'll cut lower peak here. See, the airplane flying is nice and fun, straight and level. But I enjoy the excitement of being a bit closer to the ground. I still want to leave a good bit of height, so that way I can account for an emergency if I have to, perform an auto rotation, which right now I really don't have anywhere to go. I'd be heading for that lake right there. But you pick the battles what you can, you know. It's my life isn't in danger here. If I have to grind and get myself another helicopter in the game because I smashed this one into the side of a mountain, so be it. But in real life, I would probably be cruising a bit higher over areas like this unless I was specifically looking for something. You always want to play the safest option you can. The weather, if it's night, if you're tired, not feeling good, you know, you have to give yourself the Mike Patey 3-strike system, and if it's not there, you don't fly. You know, you don't want to risk yourself or your passengers or anybody on the ground. The aircraft be damned, it can be replaced or rebuilt, or insurance can pay for another one, but you know, your health's the important bit. Tell you what though, distance rendering on those mountains makes it look like they were painted with finger paints or something, and I'm sure it'll get nicer as we go there, but I don't think it's big enough on y'all's screen yet. But for me, it's my whole view right there. My trees kind of in there, and we'll see them slowly start populating in over here now. If I was more familiar with the area, we'd follow that valley down there. But I don't know where we're going, so we're not going to do that. And actually, what I do want to do, I want to take this back to the map here. Let's see if everything's matching up. That's cool. I didn't know it had a vertical speed indicator on the bottom right of the Garmin there. That's nice. Very convenient. Of course, that's way down there. You can't see that the best resolution, and just where my focus is. Usually I watch here for my vertical speed indicator, gaining 500, gaining 1,000, 1,500, back down, whatever. That's usually what I watch my vertical speed and what I'm doing altitude-wise. And the geography is so different out here than it is where I live, over here in the middle of Georgia. Which, I honestly didn't know VR would be this good, which let me rephrase, I'm sure I knew VR would be pretty damn cool, just because it's 2024, almost 2025 now, and you know, we have a lot of cool technology out there regardless, just keeping stuff up to speed as far as graphics cards and processors and just the quality of screens and everything as well. And just, I mean, we can do so much with technology where it's ridiculous to think that VR is not as good as it is. And I've seen some videos of like the first-person shooters in VRs that look super realistic, so I guess I just wasn't prepared for the depth of field that you get with VR. Like looking out, let me stick my head out this window here, like, cool, you know, I really, instead of feel like I'm looking at my side table, I feel like I'm looking thousands of feet down, which we're at 2,500 feet down right now. Yeah, at least 2,000 per the radar altimeter. But VR is good. I don't know how good it was when it first came out. I'm sure it was still good because you don't just put viewing goggles on somebody and say like that's what it is, but they did good. Let's follow this road up here. I packed extra fuel for a reason. We still have 300 kilograms of fuel, so I think we're good. But Mr. Baker here, before we took off, told me his meeting got pushed back about 35 minutes, so he had a little bit of time to burn, and he'd rather get some scenic flights in instead of just flying straight there through some weird floating brackets in the sky that don't go away if you change your settings. So we're going to appease Mr. Baker here. And we'll do one of my favorite things. We'll lose a bit of altitude here, so that way we're completely hiding all of the landscape on the backside. We want all of that gone, but we can only see the mountain here. I'll pull a little bit of collective in. We're pulling back on the cyclic to get our altitude. And about here, I'm going to start dumping off collective. So we flatten up and have a nice reveal right over the treetops. Look at that. Fred North, who? No, I can't talk bad on Fred North. He's a super nice guy. I've had the honor of working with him a handful of times on a few different productions I've worked on. And other pilots too, such as Rudy and, honestly, I don't know the other name. A stunt pilot more than I would other pilots. And not that a 15 to 20,000 hour, say, medical pilot. Not to say that he's not a good pilot. I'm sure he's a damn good pilot. But usually when you work in a career path where you are only dealing with the standard every day, you know, you don't get to push the machine to what its limits are. You don't get to feel the limits of the machine. Just like it's like driving, let's say driving quickly down a road somewhere. I'm going to trust a ride with a rally driver or a drifter or a stunt driver more than I am a NASCAR driver. Not because the NASCAR drivers are bad drivers, but because I'd rather be in the car with somebody who can handle a dirt road at 100 miles an hour, or do drifting precision where they're scraping the paint off their bumper at 50 miles an hour sideways while being next to another car. You know, I trust the people who are able to consistently push machines and their talents to the limit, and to know what the edge of their talents are. Just like I would much rather hop in a, let's just, something I've brought up with some of my stunt friends before. Let's say we're just looking at overall general talent of a stunt driver. Of course, they're not doing stunt driving every day. It's a lot to afford to have a car that you can do it, to go through a full set of tires every day. Sure, you know, if you do it the right way, you can. If you're a professionally sponsored person, you can. But for the most part, you can't do that every day, and you can't expect to do that every day. So let's say, for instance, you have somebody who's always been a good driver, hops in a car, and they say, okay, cool, we need you to go do a driving straight at this parking box, then do a handbrake 90-degree turn into the parking box. And let's say they do stunt driving once a year, and they happen to hit the box once or twice in a row, and they say, okay, cool, that's enough practice, I'm ready to go now. Versus somebody who hops in the car, does it 100 times. They fail 60 of those times, but 40 of those times they get it right. And there's always measurable improvement with what they're doing. I would much rather ride with a person who did it 100 times, because I think that they've experienced more good and more bad of what the vehicle's capable of. The person who did it twice and assumed that they are driving God, they might be, but the chances are that they're not. And I'd much rather ride with a person who put in the time and the effort and the perseverance to actually push themselves, to actually figure out what the limits are. You know, they could probably hit the box twice and call it okay, but if they kept going and they started entering a few miles an hour slower or a few miles an hour faster, or they went down the parking lot, or they moved it to some concrete versus asphalt, or they had some more gravel on it, sand, dust, different tires, different vehicles. Somebody who's been able to, you know, experience all aspects of what it's capable of doing, have a better grasp of what actually is going to happen. And that's who I'd rather ride with. You know, I'd rather ride with a helicopter pilot, being a stunt pilot, who was flown at 30 or 40 knots with full rudder, as sideways as they could be, with somebody hanging out of the door. So it's really weird aerodynamics already, and then on top of that the door open, and then flying next to the train, or a car, or a truck, picking up a stunt guy off the side. Or flying in super close proximity to stuff and millimeter precision. Good reveal there. That's a steep downhill. Wow. Yeah, somebody who has that millimeter precision while they're moving. You know, sure, a normal pilot could come in and do a standard approach and landing and stuff, but I want to know who has that extra capability, who has the put in the time, put in the effort to figure out what's wrong. But I guess that applies relatively generally to everything. You know, a person who crashes a car 10 times because they're a shit driver isn't a good driver. A person who crashes a car 10 times because they're attempting to do something very specific and they're slowly finding the edge of it. Like, yeah, cool, I'm not going to hate you for smacking a cone 50 times when you're trying to learn to do e-brake parallel parking. I'm not going to judge that. I've seen a handful of viewers pop in and out. Right now it's just one, which I think that might be my phone that I have on running it just to monitor comments and stuff. 3 people, what's up? Yeah, people coming in and out. That's cool. You know, if you want to watch, you can. If not, whatever. I'm just here flying, and I figure I'm going to be flying anyways. I'm going to do this, and I've hit 500 subs, so I might as well stream again. Although I do feel like most people subscribe to me for the garage-related stuff. Which, I do have an update video coming soon, because it's now full, and it's cold outside, and there are lights up. So we're going to touch on some of that for the people who are interested. If you are one of those people who are a garage subscriber, look forward to that. And if you are a garage subscriber and you're very upset that I'm sitting here streaming a video game, I don't care. This is my channel. I do what I want to with it. That's why it's called multi-shop. I consider this one of the things that I have in my shop, my helicopter simulator and PC, and it's something that I do and that I'll be working forward to doing my own helicopter stuff, which will be parked in the shop. So, suck it. And I think I might have even mentioned it in one of the older videos that I don't want to become a how to build a garage or how to build a shop channel. That's not where my heart's at. Of course, I expect to do more series like that in the future, just because I'll be buying property soon, and I look forward to building a house or shop or building of some sort there to start out with, and then a house or building or shop to supplement that in the future. But as for now, you know, don't need to. I'll document that. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. Getting much more into grassy, hilly stuff. A lot of rain and stuff coming in from the north. which near here, I believe, there was a tornado yesterday in California, very rare. Which I'm sure they do have it, maybe water spouts, maybe something happens. But typically, I think that tornadoes are not very common in California. And it happened to be in a populated area. I don't think it was like a severe EF3 or something like that. Or actually, it could be that, considering how they changed the scales. The scales of tornado strength judging used to be strictly, which I don't think that's in here right now, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think helicopter judgment on the Fujita scale, which is now the enhanced Fujita scale, but the old Fujita scale used to be strictly on wind. Like a tornado of 60 to 100 miles an hour was an EF0, 100 to 130, EF1, something like that. But the enhanced Fujita scale, I think they changed it to where it was more of a damage assessment. Or maybe they use both. Maybe it's you judge the tornado by scale when it's on the ground by what the wind and stuff is. You have a medium-sized tornado going through an extremely populated area, sure, the winds may be in high EF2, low EF3, or F2, F3. But after everything happens, we are losing altitude there. Hello, downdraft. But yeah, so it goes through a populated area, and it creates massive damage. So it might get rated higher afterwards because of the known damage to happen. Which I think, okay, cool. It does make things seem more serious when you're talking about, if people lose their lives, it's not like, oh man, we had this little dinky tornado came through, but it went through a populated area. It's like, oh no, you had a serious tornado come through just because of location. There have been plenty of Category 4 and Category 5 hurricanes that have happened off the coast that haven't touched anything. And it's, sure, you can classify them as one of the strongest hurricanes in existence, but if they didn't affect people, people aren't going to know or respect or whatever. So maybe that was something with the enhanced Fujita scale, because it did have some sort of change in it to where it talked about, oh no, did I lose? I might have lost the stream. Hold up a second. Testing. Yep. Let's see.